This is TJ with Tech Made Easy. Welcome to the channel. My channel is all about making things affordable, practical, and easy. And what we're going to be talking about today is used hard drives, but not just any used, server hard drives. And why I use server hard drives. One of the reasons why I use server hard drives is they are built way better than desktop hard drives. They are meant to last way longer. Their businesses use these. They're data crucial. And so, and what businesses do with their server hard drives, they do not run them end of life. They maybe run them half-life. It depends on the corporation, what their policies are. Once a hard drive gets so much use, then they recycle them to the computer recyclers, and then they're available to the public at a way discounted price. And that's why I buy them, because they're so inexpensive. And I've had really good luck using server hard drives, but not just any server hard drive. What I found out, this is a Dell right here. This Dell hard drive is a server hard drive, but the manufacturer up here is HGST. HGST is the biggest hard drive manufacturer, server hard drive manufacturer in the world. They make the server hard drives for Dell, HP, Lenovo, a whole bunch, a slew of companies, Sun, Microsystems, so on and so forth. And so, so when you get one of these, you don't even know, there could be years of life left on them. Especially of a home user, because a home user, we're not really using them that much, reading and writing a little bit here and there. My video server, I hardly ever write to it unless I'm ripping a video to it, so it just lasts longer. And when I first started servers years ago, I put in desktops. They went out of me. Luckily, I was running FreeNAS at the time, and it was able to rebuild the RAID array. And then I got a second server. The second server, by that time, I learned about HGST, and I put all HGST drives in it. Never had a problem after that. Run that for 8 or 9 years. That's a long time for me to run without any hard drive problems. And then I just recently, this last year, I updated my video server. If you've seen my videos, I've used an HP Z420 as my file server. Let me show that to you really quick.
This is my video file server. All it does is it doesn't run any other apps except for TrueNAS. I actually run Plex off of my Proxmox server that accesses this. So, and if you've seen my videos before, I use these HP Z420s for my storage, and these are 4 bays here, and I'm running the HGST hard drives in them. They are 8 terabyte. They are the SAS drives, and I get 10 gigabit throughput with this. But I've been running this for about 9 months. Never had a problem.
So in that file server, as I mentioned, I'm using SAS hard drives. I'm using 8, and they're 8 terabytes. Now, I'm going to be talking about 2 formats today. I'm going to talk about the SATA and the SAS. And the used SATA hard drives are going to be a little bit more expensive than the SAS hard drives, because a lot of companies use the SAS ones, so there's just more available, so they sell them cheaper. But there's a caveat to using SAS hard drives. You can't just throw those in your desktop. You have to have a special controller card, which I'll go over there. They're not that expensive. So really quick, we're just going to talk about hard drive life for a minute or two. Then we're going to go over the pricing of the Dell, or excuse me, of the 4 terabyte, 6 terabyte, 8 terabyte, 10 terabyte, and compare those against Amazon really quick. And then we're going to go over and be sure to watch. If you're interested in doing SAS hard drives, be sure to watch to the end, because I'll cover all on how you're going to use SAS hard drives instead of SATA hard drives in a server situation, in your desktop, so on and so forth. Let's get started.
Okay, so really quick, let's just look at the savings here before we go dive into these hard drives. Okay, on eBay we got a 4 terabyte hard drive for $22, give or take. On Amazon, it's $65 between $100. And the reason why they vary so much on Amazon, you might be getting a desktop to a surveillance to a server hard drive. 6 terabyte, $40 on Amazon, $90 to $180. 8 terabyte on eBay for $50, give or take. On Amazon, $110 to $180. 10 terabyte, $80, give or take, to $150 to $300. So just look at the savings. If you're trying to put together a server, and you got to buy 4 hard drives, say four 4 terabyte hard drives, you're talking $100 or less on eBay, and you're talking what, anywhere between $300 and $400 on Amazon. just for your 4 terabytes. So it's a great way if you're trying to put a server together to save some money. So what we're going to do right now is, and on eBay we're looking at 2 types of hard drives, like I'd mentioned, SATA and SAS hard drives. Now you pay a little bit more for the SATA hard drives than you do for the SAS. Part of the reason is because the SAS hard drives, more businesses use SAS, so when they come off market there's just more on the market to buy on the used market, so it's a lower price on the SAS. So these prices that I'm showing you here are the SAS prices. You'll pay a little bit more for the SATA prices. Now the SATA hard drives, let's say you're going to buy something like Synology, or they only take SATA hard drives. I believe those type of independent drives or servers only take SATA hard drives. Or if you're going to use enclosure, a hard drive enclosure, a USB, they only take SATA hard drives. But if you're going to be putting this in a PC, then you can go ahead and put in SAS hard drives. But again, there's a caveat there. You have to buy a few extra things in order to use the SAS hard drives. It's not that much, and I'm going to cover that, what you need to do, some options there. So let's go ahead and let's take a look. Let's take a further look at these hard drives on eBay, and then we'll touch up base on the SAS and how to get the SAS drives going on your server. Okay, so really quick, before we go on eBay and look at these prices a little bit more in depth, and then talk about how to use the SAS drives with your server, let's really quick, just if you were to Google the lifespan of a hard drive, you'll get something like this where it says 3 to 5 years. But also too, there's another guy somebody else asked the question, can a hard drive last 10 years? And the answer is the hard drives don't have a fixed lifespan, and they say that they can actually last a long time. It just depends on their usage and the quality of drive that you buy. Okay, and so that's why the used server market, that's why those drives are so great to get, because they are more robust drives than your desktop drives. Sometimes I think when they're talking about these, they're just talking about your regular normal desktop drives. The server hard drives are made to last a lot longer, and if you can use SAS drives, they're even a little bit more quality than the SATA drives. So just like on this one here, this guy is saying 5 to 10 years, and maybe he's considering server drives. I don't know, but let me just explain really quick. So obviously, if you use, let's say a server drive is rated for 10 years, and once you get close to those 10 years, you know it's gonna fail. But another time in which hard drives fail is not, it's just not at its end of life, it's also at the beginning, when you first buy a hard drive. I don't know if you've ever bought a hard drive and about a month or 2 months into it the hard drive has failed. That has happened to me. That's because sometimes when these hard drives are manufactured, there might be a mistake putting it together, machine mistake, whatever it is. So when hard drives fail, it's either going to be at the beginning when you first buy it, or at the end of life. So what you have is you have a lot of years of use in between the beginning and whatever the end of life is for that hard drive. And again, like I was saying, a lot of corporations, they do not keep their drives to end of life. If they think the end of life is so many hours, they might go half of those hours and swap those out, so they still have lots of life. Home users don't use their server hard drives like businesses do. There's not a lot of reads and writes to those. A lot of times they're just spinning, unless you're doing unraid, and so these drives can last a long time. So let's go ahead and let's go into more depth on looking at these drives on eBay, and then talk about the SAS drives and how we can utilize SAS drives in a server. Okay, so right now, if you just do your search on HGST 4 terabyte SATA hard drives, this is what's going to come up. And there is a vendor here that's selling them for $22. Now this one that's 19, that one has a bag sector. So you really have to look at these two, because sometimes you'll see a really low price on a hard drive, but that's because it's bad and they're only selling it for parts. So this next one is 34. 34. So you can see that sometimes you'll get a manufacturer selling these SATA drives at a really good price. And this one here, and like I mostly try to buy from computer recyclers, and you can see here that it says there's 10 available and 718 sold. So they just got dumped on from corporations with a whole bunch of hard drives to sell, and that's why they're probably $22 because they had so many of them. But there's your pricing for the 4 terabyte. Now we're going to talk about SAS as soon as we get through with the SATA drives here. So the SATA drives, you're talking, they start at $40 here, and it can go up to $50, $45, so on and so forth. The same thing here, like this is going to be a recycler that's selling this hard drive, it says there's 10 available, and so on and so forth. So let's move on to the 8 terabyte one, and here you can see this. Okay, look at this one that's $45. Now this comes from China, and I've bought things from China before, but I don't think I'd buy a hard drive from there because this says that it's new. I don't really know if this is a new hard drive, and it's an HGST. China sometimes does imitations, and this could be an imitation hard drive of HGST. I don't know. I just wouldn't buy one from China. So now we're looking at $63 for the SATA, $64, $66, anywhere $70. So now if we go here to the 10 terabyte ones, now we're looking at $70 where they start at. And again, this one, yeah, and I don't know enough about these helium ones to know how good they are, but that's where we're starting at there. And not all of them are helium ones. I think it keeps them cooler, but there you have, they start about $69, maybe go up to 80, 85, so on and so forth. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how the price on the SAS drives are less, and it's just because corporations, they probably, it could be like 70% are SAS drives, 30% are SATA. So they get dumped on with these SAS drives, so they're just much cheaper. See, here's one for $19, $20, another $20, so on and so forth. Okay, here's one for $14. Actually, it's not $14 because this is a thing you got to look at too when you're buying these stuff off of eBay. A lot of people include the shipping with the price, but sometimes, like on this one here that's $14.99, you think you're buying it for that, but it's really another $7 for shipping and handling. And these are sorted according to price, lowest to highest. So now let's look at the 4 or the 6 terabyte one. We're starting at $40 here, so on and so forth. Now we're looking at, and again, these are all SAS hard drives. Here's the 8 terabyte, starting at this one says it's 35, and it's great if you can get that, but a lot of times around the $45 mark era, so on and so forth. So now let's look at the 10 terabyte, and they start around $65 and go up from there, maybe $80, as you can see. Okay, so that covers the pricing. Let's talk about other options, especially on the SAS drives. This is the thing you have to look at too when it comes to the SAS hard drives. I think the 8 terabyte hard drives are the best deal, bang for your buck. Yeah, they're costing about $50 each, unless you're doing 4 terabytes, because the 4 terabytes are around $20. So, but there is a caveat if you're going to use SAS hard drives, and let's talk about that for a minute. You can't just throw a SAS hard drive onto your motherboard SATA, using your motherboard SATA controller card. It's only made to do SATA, not SAS. So if you're going to do SAS, you need to get a SAS controller card. And I'm going to show you here really quick. The only SAS controller cards I get, and they make them for everybody, just like HGST, is LSI. It might say IBM on it, but it'll also say LSI in the description. It might say HP, it might say Dell, but LSI makes all the server controller cards, or the bulk of them. So this is a controller card right here on eBay. Now when you buy these controller cards, you have to make sure that it says IT mode, free NAS, or ZFS or Unraid or TrueNAS, because this is a pass-through card. Then it no longer has the software in it to do a hardware RAID. If you want to get one of these where the card does the RAID instead of the software, you can do that. But most people are going to use Unraid, or they're going to use Windows storage spaces, FreeNAS, TrueNAS, or they're going to use Linux, some type of Linux, to do their server RAID, mirror, whatever, RAID 5. So that's the key here. And this one here is a 6 gigabyte throughput. Now this is the thing about the SAS that I probably should have pointed out. A lot of the SAS hard drives, let's look at these real quick. This is 12 gigabit throughput. Not all of them are. You have to look at them. Some are 6 gigabit. Let me just tell you right now, if you're looking at high performance, like you want to have a 10 gig network card in your system, and you want to get as close as you can to 10 gig performance on your server as far as reading and writing goes, then by all means, a lot of these SAS hard drives are 12 gigabit. So if you want to take advantage of that throughput, this LSI card is only 6 gigabit. Let me talk about the cables just for a sec. So you'll see these cables here. So these cables, this is a typical card here. And okay, so this is what I want to show you. Right now, the way I had it on this one, and you couldn't see where you connect the cables to. But if we look at it here, these cables are being connected right here, and they have this right here. Let me go to this one here. Maybe this will show better. This right here plugs into this, and then these plug into your hard drives, and then you have to have your power from your power supply with its hard drive power adapters to plug into your hard drives, just like a normal hard drive. So I also need to mention that these controller cards I'm going over support 8 hard drives. Even though there's only 2 connections here on the card itself, those 2 connections control 4 hard drives each. So this is the adapters that come with it. You can buy these cards cheaper, but they won't come with the cables, and you'll have to buy the cables separately. So it's probably better just to buy them with the cables. So now let's talk about a high performance LSI card. And again, when I say high performance, there's even more high performance, the ones that I'm talking about that have larger throughput. But let's talk about this one here. Okay, so I almost caught myself. So this card here doesn't look like it's in IT mode for FreeNAS or Unraid, Windows, whatever. Okay, so this is where you have to be careful. That other one, I wasn't looking close enough at it. It was a hardware RAID. So you want, again, this one here is a 12 gigabit, but it's an IT mode, or they'll say ZFS, TrueNAS, or it might say Unraid on it. So this is what we need here, and it's less than the other one. Now, these cables here are different, and what's different about this cable compared to the 6 gigabit one is the ends that plug into the card. They're different. So if you think you can get a 6 gigabit card, then get a 10 gigabit or 12 gigabit later and use the same cables, you can't. These cables are made specifically for this 12 gigabit card. But that's what you need there. Now, the other thing that we want to look at is putting these in your system. Okay, now the other thing that you need to know is if you're going to put these in your hard drive or in your desktop, there's a couple of options that you can do here. If you want a drive bay, then you can buy a drive bay and put them in, and I've got several of them listed here. Now this particular one, I use this one here. The reason why I use this one is because it's short, and a lot of times where your hard drive space is to put these is it backs up against the power supply. So this one's short enough where it gives you enough room to work around your power supply. And so, but this one here, this is a 5 bay, $90. You got a 4 bay here, $75, and then you got a 3 bay here for $53 and this is Newegg. And I'll have these listed below. As far as the hard drive goes on eBay and Amazon, you'll just have to look those up. And when you're on eBay, if you're interested, you just type in 4 terabyte HGST SATA or type in SAS to get your hard drives there. Amazon, you just type in 4 terabyte, 6 terabyte, 8 terabyte, whatever. But so these here are SAS compatible. You're going to see right here, they take SATA or SAS, so they have a backplane back here. But you still have to plug in to a SAS controller card. And these will be hot swappable. The SAS controller cards are hot swappable. You could even if you had it in your case, you could unplug a hard drive from your SAS controller and plug it back in, and it'll work without turning your machine off. Okay, so these are options for storage, but there's more that you need here as well. There's some adapters that you're going to need if you're not going to use something like this that's SAS compatible. Let's just say that you have a lot of hard drive space, storage space in your PC, and you're not going to use one of these. I'm going to show you what to use there. And let's go back to here. And so what you have is you have these adapters. Let me grab this here. So this is a SAS to SATA pin adapter. So you would have to plug, and this you'll notice this right here. Let me just see if you'll notice right here, this is your SAS. Your SAS plugs are different than your SATA. So these are the SAS plugs, and then these are your SATA. Again, though, this is still going to a controller card. You can't go plug this into your SAS hard drive and then take your PC adapters, hard drive adapters, or power adapters, and make this work. It has to still be plugged into the SAS controller card. Now, this one is flat. I don't recommend this one because a lot of your hard drives don't have a lot of space when you go to shut your it depends on how your case is designed. Most of the cases I have, though, the hard drives are your doors being closed right on the end of your hard drives. So I recommend these right angle ones here, or this wired one here. And you'll notice this is $8. These ones here are $4. These are cheaper. So you know, if you're trying to save money, then you can get this here. And let me just show you on a hard drive how this looks. Okay, I've got 3 hard drives here. These are all HGST. You'll notice this says Dell on it, but if you look close over here, you can't see it, but it does say HGST on it. That's the manufacturer. And so the reason why I'm showing this is the SATA, this is the SAS, and this is SAS. I wanted to show you these 2 SAS because of the adapters that you put on it. So this adapter here is that SAS to SATA adapter, and unfortunately it points up. So when I put this in the hard drive case, I have to turn it upside down to run it to the SAS card. But another option is this right here, and with this cable, you can obviously bend it. And again, the reason why I do this is because the door of my case shuts against the hard drives, and there just isn't a lot of room to put these adapters in. So if you had the adapter that went straight out, it would hit the case door, but both of these work fine to shut my case door. So that's what you're going to need. Again, but they do run to the controller card, with the exception of the power. The powers run off of your power supply, but the hard drive part of these has to run to the controller card. Okay, so basically we're done here. If you're going to do SAS hard drives, which I do a lot of SAS hard drives. Oh, and one other thing. Let's go back here really quick. Let's go to Amazon. Now, if you're looking for external hard drives, this is one I recommend. I like this TerraMaster. Sabrent makes a 5-bay one, but you know, they're both of these are Sabrents. The high performance ones are expensive. Sabrent's around 100 or 270. But I like this one because it's got 6 bays in it. You may not need 6 bays, so you can save money if you get a 4-bay high performance one. And when I say high performance, you know, your type C 10 gigabit throughput, or you can get this Media Sound for $160, and it's a 4-bay. But I believe the TerraMaster 4-bay is cheaper. Same, and I'm only looking at these high performance ones. You can get these bays for as cheap as $75 a 4-bay. It's just the performance isn't that great. So if you have need for external hard drives storage, but these will only work with the SATA hard drives, SATA only, not the SAS. That's another option for hard drive storage. Anyway, this is TG with Tech Made Easy. Hope that was helpful, enlightening. Have a great day.
Now that was easy peasy.